Good afternoon, you wee bastards, and welcome back to World of Warships with Koala, and welcome aboard the USS Omaha, Tier 5 American light cruiser. This is the last cruiser in the US Navy tree before the line splits into light and heavy cruisers with the Dallas and Pensacola at Tier 6. And it's also the first chance most American players will have to be up-tiered all the way to Tier 7. That's right, welcome to +2 matchmaking. Oh well, at least this particular match was a Tier 4 down tier. As magical as it might seem, sometimes you do get down tiered. Never seems like it happens, but it does. Now, the 10 cruisers of the Omaha class were the oldest cruisers in service with the US Navy at the onset of World War II, and they were basically developed as destroyer, escort, and scout cruisers, used to roam ahead of a battleship fleet. As such, they have, well, you can't even really call it armour. In fact, it's comparable to most destroyers in the bow. In World of Warships, that means get used to getting hit in the Citadel. And when I say get used to it, I mean it, because USS Pensacola, the heavy cruiser this ship leads into, is no different. Enemy cruisers can quite easily Citadel that ship from the front. At least on Omaha, the ship's Citadel is quite far back, and it does have a full 3 inches of belt armour, so showing off a little of your broadside to destroyers and enemy light cruisers in order to get some good salvos off isn't always such a bad idea. At least not as much as it is with some other cruisers. To put it simply though, I wouldn't trust the survivability of the ship. Your primary aim is to not get hit in the first place. Isn't that your aim most of the time, Koala? Well, you know what I mean. Only risk a broadside when you know no heavy cruisers or battleships are waiting to smack you in it, because you're a potential one-shot for some of the battleships you will face. Offsetting that poor armour, however, Omaha is quite a decent air defence platform with this third hull upgrade. As you can see, we also have the defensive fighter consumable, which is currently on cooldown after both of the enemy Langleys decided to throw aircraft at a big cluster of ships early game, alongside a hydroacoustic search, and both of these are going to prove very useful later in the match. The defensive AA isn't great, but it's certainly comfortably powerful against Tier 4 carriers at least. This hull upgrade also does reduce the total number of 6-inch guns down to 10 from 12 on the A and B hulls, but the 2 turrets you get rid of, well, they're on the stern of the ship, and I'll be honest, I would much rather have the extra hit points and increased air defense capability than the 2 extra 6-inch guns I don't often make use of anyway. Actually, one of the best factors going for Omaha in my opinion is the fact that she has almost the same number of cannons when charging directly head on as she does when fully broadside. 6 of these 6-inch guns can fire right over the bow, and you only get 7 on target when showing about a 19 times bigger target to shoot at. That makes the ship really nice for what was one of her primary roles in history, hunting destroyers. If you can actually aim the guns, which I obviously can't, even at the broadside of a U-Barry. As for the match itself, yes, I know I have no camo on the ship, don't ask me why, I must have turned off auto resupplying accidentally. We're on the ring map in a whopping 3 carrier match. Ooh, that's a shame. Almost made the turn around that island before getting hit, but unfortunately not today. But I like this map in this ship, because it has the ability to sit behind some of these islands and poke out to fire, while not being so far back that you can't be useful unless your team is already losing, but not being so far forward that you end up getting hit 6 times just trying to reach the good spots early game, losing half your health. We did lose a little health to aircraft carrier strikes and the one fire-setting high explosive hit from that very brave Jian Wei, but honestly, those 3 carriers on the enemy team are welcome to throw all the aircraft they like at me. Now, here's the situation Jingles will like. We've got 2 smoke screens looking angrily at each other. There's the Jian Wei on the enemy team that I put one head into, as well as a Minakaze who's just made a meal out of that Nicholas to my right. That's why you don't sit broadside in a smoke screen this far forward on the map. That means we're now down 2 ships while the enemy team still has a full team. Oh wait. Immediately as I say that, 2 enemy ships are sunk within 5 seconds of each other. An Emerald down to a Podvoisky, and the Mutsuki on their team, who went and beached himself against an island, showing his broadside off to the open ocean. Well, it's a triple carrier game. Don't do that. Not only that, but as we were firing shells into that Miyogi, who couldn't actually hit us in return this close to the island, the torpedoes from that Nicholas, who died a second ago, actually managed to take out the French Tier 4 cruiser that I don't even want to try to pronounce, lest I lose all my remaining French viewers after my pronunciation of Ertendard last week. But now we have a wee bit more of a relaxing situation, where we can just take our time and pick our targets strategically. We've got teammates in the area. I've loaded up the armor piercing for these 6-inch guns. It's actually quite good, especially with this many rounds, for this Minakaze right here, but we are going to mostly over-penetrate this guy. There we go. Not a massive hit. It's good enough, I'll take it, but for Tier 5, especially with a cruiser with this many guns, you'd expect to be doing more damage than that per hit, especially with armor piercing against a destroyer. mostly over penetrations. And there he goes, he got taken out by the Langley. As you can see, carriers are absolutely destroying this game, and this is when the Omaha kind of does best, when you've got a lot of teammates all kind of clustered in the one location and focusing the one location. I feel sorry for a few teammates who went to capture Alpha because they had very little support during this game, but the enemy team didn't really focus that area either, so they weren't in too much of a danger. And I believe they've basically managed to neutralize that side. So we don't have to worry about being flanked, we don't have to worry about destroyers, there's only the one left, and we kind of know where that guy is. Now I'm reversing to try and get back behind the island there as this Myogi comes screaming along, trying to put some shots into him. He is very much on fire right now, but let's see if we can set one more on him. Nope, just non-penetrations. Anti-air going off again. The carriers on the enemy team really weren't prioritizing their targets well. There are solitary battleships off in the top of the map. There are all the aircraft carriers on our team that are pretty spaced out from each other, and yet they're sending all their aircraft into our cluster of ships where our overlapping AA fire can really limit the amount of damage they can possibly do. So there we go, we set another fire onto this Myogi as if he needed another fire to take him down. He's going to go down quite soon, and there is the Jian Wei who's been pestering our team for the past 5 minutes. So let's see if we can't take him down. Really kind of poor shots into the back of him there. Took out his steering gear, but he obviously hit the repair because as I tried to fire anticipating him to keep on that same course, he ended up pulling off that line and just managed to get outside my arc of fire. Now the Myogi just went down. I threw away the kill on that guy to assault this Jian Wei. I could very easily have killed the Myogi and that would have been my first kill, done a bit more damage as well, but I am going to be much more helpful to my team if I target the smaller ship that my ships on my team with larger caliber guns are going to have more trouble hitting. And that's something you've got to get used to in cruisers. Just because you're not doing quite as much damage as you could be, sometimes you're actually more helpful to the team doing less damage. Now, the Jian Wei's obviously smoked up and go on stealth mode, but I'm trying to scatter fire. Don't know where those shots were aimed. Trying to scatter fire into the smoke screen. There we go, this should find him, and boom, there he is. Alright, so now we know exactly where he is. He's going to be trying to avoid the spot where we just obviously hit him, but then I realized I have hydroacoustic search. And as we light it up, there he is. Very little health left. One salvo should do it. Oh, not quite. And the next one. So all I need to do is turn my ship slightly to port, get that last gun on target, and boom, there he goes. First kill, 26,000 or 27,000 damage now. This isn't going to be a massively high damage game, but it does really well display, in my opinion, how the Omaha does best. There we go, putting shots into this German cruiser Nürnberg as he's not looking at us, so I can feel safe to go broadside here, and there's no other targets in this area. He's one of the last remaining ships on their team. I believe it's just him, a battleship, and the 3 carriers on their team. So like I said, not a high damage game, this one. We got around 55,000 in the end, but for me, that's decent, especially when I'm a fairly new player. I'm still not loading up armor piercing and high explosive at the right times, as you saw just there. No way I'm going to citadel a German cruiser at this kind of range with armor piercing at that angle. But just as our shells are about to land, the Nürnberg gets taken out by the Minakaze, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments, who do you think deserved the kill for that one? Because we did a substantial amount of damage to him. If we'd have managed to set a fire, and we might have if I'd have not loaded the armor piercing and kept with the high explosive shells, we would have ended up getting that kill. And look, I'm not sure what to think. The Minakaze did do a substantial amount of damage to the guy as well, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, I'm charging directly for the enemy carriers right now. There's 3 on the team, so I've put the defensive fighter consumable up because I know that they're probably going to send aircraft in my way. Of all the ships on our team going for the carriers right now, I'm going to be the one detected first. And this ship doesn't have the best detection range, as you can see, over 13 kilometers. So at the moment they're tied up with that battleship over there, but as their planes start cycling, heading back to the carrier, and they send new squadrons out, they're going to find me before they find anybody else. And they just sunk our friendly Emil Burton. So I'm going to have to go and deal with these carriers, whilst a destroyer on our team hopefully can go and sink their last battleship. Now, it's not going to matter. We have a massive points lead at this point. But here's where I love the Omaha. Now, I was AFK for a little while here. I did put the final consumable out way too soon. None of the carriers had found me yet. I didn't actually take into account that they were still dealing with the battleship. Oh, what have I done there? Oh, right, okay, so through the magic of editing, we're now at a point in the match that actually matters. We're basically just hunting down the carriers one by one, and we're of course going to have to deal with them defending themselves. Like I said, they found me before they found anybody else. There is, I believe, a destroyer trying to hunt them down, and there's several other ships behind me, but I'm going to be their primary target because I'm the only one in firing range of them right now. Actually, that destroyer is getting mighty close, and yeah, he is definitely spotted by them. He's taking fire. Now, I wasn't sure what shells I should be loading up here, so I tried armor piercing, thinking I've got so much plunging fire, surely I won't over-penetrate. And then I ricochet off their carrier decks. I'm not entirely sure. But here's where I find the Omaha most useful. Now, like I said, this game's already won. Even though we didn't do so well in the beginning, we were the first team to lose ships and we lost 2 before the enemy team lost any. Now we have absolutely reset the numbers, and if the carriers had prioritized their targets better on the enemy team, their couple of battleships they had up in the northern section of the map could have flanked around, captured Alpha. Actually, their solitary battleship remaining is capping Alpha right now. He could have flanked around, taken out the carriers, or at least 1 or 2, and potentially flanked around our team and prevented us getting such a solid hold on Bravo. Or Delta, sorry. But all of their carriers decided to throw their aircraft at the wrong targets. They threw them at a group of cruisers, and as you can see, we have 20 aircraft kills. That's pretty significant for a ship that has, well, decent AA fire, but not anything to write home about. Now, I have no idea why I decided that that torpedo wasn't even worth my time, but here we go. We're going to finish off this one carrier right here, just unfortunately as he gets his aircraft off the deck, and we've now got the next one right here. The game's going to end before we get this kill, but here's a hypothetical for you. Late in the game, as you can see, I still don't know how citadelling works on a carrier, and I'm trying out armor piercing, thinking maybe I can get a good citadelling hit on him and finish him off quite quickly, but the game is seconds away from ending, and this is going to be it. Let's say you're very late in the game. There's only a few ships left on your team, a few ships left on the enemy team, and they're trying to stealth up and try and cap, stop the ticket drain. What's the best ship to be in? Is it a destroyer that can run around quickly, but you can't really take them out very quickly? You need a good amount of time to set up a proper engagement, and there you go, that's the end of the match. But a battleship, you don't have the speed or the versatility. Now, a cruiser is good, but oh, the Omaha is beautiful. And the reason for that is that you have most of your firepower right in the bow of your ship, so you have absolutely no need to go broadside in order to get good salvos off, which admittedly, battleships usually have at least half of their firepower right in the front, but then they have guns with accuracy so low that you kind of need to get most of them on target if you can, and going broadside in a battleship whenever you can safely is generally the best thing to do. Destroyer, like I said, you need to plan your engagement so that you don't lose your own life before you even get close enough to reliably torpedo them, because if someone's just killed a destroyer that was coming barreling towards them head on, they're going to be anticipating your torpedoes. The Omaha has the ability to chase ships down, and they're going to be firing out of their ass, especially if they're running away from you, and they won't have very many guns pointing towards you, and they won't have the accuracy because you're presenting the smallest possible target. You're going directly head on. You have 6 of your 6-inch guns, and the maximum number you could have on target, even with a broadside, is 7. So you almost have no need to go broadside in an Omaha, and it's kind of a good excuse to become good in cruisers. One big problem that players have in this game, that even a relative newbie like me can recognise, is that cruiser captains, especially at this tier and below, often don't know when to go broadside and when not to. Well, the Omaha encourages you not to, and it will teach you what you need to know about cruiser gameplay in the future, because just because you could have a massive salvo and people are sailing around thinking, oh, I've got so many guns, let's try and go broadside, get them all on target, and do the most damage possible. That's not your job in a cruiser. Your job is to look for the opportunistic shots, not go hunting for them per se, but also not be too passive. Keep that in mind. You don't need to worry about getting all of your guns on target. You shouldn't be trying to get all of your guns on target all the time. Your aim is to be looking for the right shots that are most helpful to your team at any one time, even at the expense of your own damage output during the match. And I'm going to be honest, I've had much higher damage in games in the Omaha than 52,000. Still, 2 kills, almost a third. I'm going to give that Minakaze the benefit of the doubt and say that, you know what, he did do a lot of damage to that cruiser as well. and he was the one being hit by it, so it is kind of nice for him to have the consolation prize of the kill there. So look, if you think it was my kill, let me know in the comments, because that would make me feel good about myself. A whopping 23 aircraft shot down just proves what a triple carrier game can actually do if you're in a decent air defense cruiser. And only 2 fires set, which is quite odd in the Omaha. I love the Omaha late game. Early game you have to be very careful. You kind of need a clusterfuck of ships, if you will, in order to be the most useful, because you need to not be looked at. Your AA fire is quite good. Once again, that's another role cruisers have, is defending your battleships with AA fire. And something I didn't show in this game was that your torpedo arcs on the ship, although your torpedoes themselves aren't the best, they're decent, but the torpedo arcs you have are fantastic. You can really make use of them. I just happened not to this game. You also have quite good survivability for a ship that has this little armour and this big of a citadel, given the shape of your superstructure. So if you are crouched down behind an island like I was in this game, keep that in mind. You can take a lot of hits, especially from high explosive bombers. Look, the Tier 4 American cruiser Phoenix is a monster, but I see a lot of people saying that the Omaha is a bit of a letdown. And to those people, I really hope that this video has taught you maybe 1 or 2 things that you could do in the ship to get a better result out of it, and perhaps to play it not focusing on, getting the 200,000 damage games all the time. You're never going to. Not unless you're really good, and if you are, well, what are you watching my videos for? Look, I am still making newbie mistakes in this game. I'm sure I'm going to catch a hell of a lot of flack for it in the comments, but if you want to send me some replays or some actual skilled gameplay for me to review in future videos, then feel free. I will put an email link in the video description, or you can come on my Discord. This is actually quite a new style of video for me. I've never done a post-commentary World of Warships video before, so if you did enjoy it, please let me know with a like rating and a comment down below. Last thing I want to say is thank you so much for now 20,000 subscribers to the channel. 20,000 koalas out there. What a mega milestone to hit. We are going to be doing a 20,000 subscriber celebratory live stream just a few hours after this video goes up, so make sure you come follow me on Twitch down below. Once again, thank you so much, lads. I hope you have enjoyed this video, lads, and if you did, you leave a like. You just said that, koala. We'll get better at this eventually, trust me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit that bell icon, join the 360 squad, because I am going to be doing new World of Warships content every single week. Let me know your thoughts on this video in the comment section below, let me know how I might get better at World of Warships content in the future so you guys can enjoy it a wee bit more. Come follow me on Twitter and Twitch, join the Discord server, and check out Patreon if you'd like to support the channel further. Thank you lads all for watching, have a lovely good day, and always remember, keep your bagpipes to hand, keep your kilt on, and I shall see you next video. I say a wee thank you to these lads for supporting me on Patreon. Captain Fubar, DA261, Gisli Gadarson, and Dark Recon. You lads are bra. If you wish to join them, come check out the link in the description below.